So have you ever had a client that you're working with that just seems to be a little resistant to giving you the answers about how they want to see their future change in some way? Have you ever had a client respond with, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, and they've responded like that many times, and you know that they can know if only they had a little bit more confidence and were a little bit less resistant to actually exploring the ideas. So in this video, I want to share with you a therapy secret. It's called the Magic Wand Resistance Reducer. And this can be used with clients that seem a little bit resistant to exploring ideas about their solutions or their future or some other question you might be asking them. Now, sometimes a client will be in the habit of saying, I don't know, because they say this to other people in their everyday life, and most people out there accept this response and they just turn their attention away to some other person. Now, sometimes the client presupposes that there's some sort of pressure to get the right answer out, and in order to avoid potentially giving the wrong answer, they prefer not to give any answer at all. And so anytime we ask a client for a question, or we ask a client a question about what their future is or what their solution can be, if the client can find the answer themselves, they're already accepting a higher level of personal responsibility and personal power because it's their answer. They own it. It's not an answer that's been given to them by someone else or by the therapist. And so by helping your client to find their own answers instills a greater level of confidence and a greater sense of personal power that helps them to realize that they do in fact have the answers to their own problems within them. So here's how to use the Magic Wand Resistance Reducing Therapy technique. So let's imagine that you ask your client something like, how would you like to solve this problem today? And they just say something like, I don't know. Well, when you first get some resistance from your client to some sort of question that you're asking, it could be due to a lack of rapport. So step one is to build more rapport with your client, both energetically and physically. Try to match them as best you can. Step number two is to give them an agreement frame by saying, I know you don't know. And this acknowledges and agrees with them, and it also strengthens the rapport that you're building. Step number three is to give them a pretending frame by saying, okay, I know you don't know. Let's pretend like you did know what the answer was for just a moment. And then step number four is to add to their commitment to give you a targeted response by giving some sort of future meaning to the intended response they're going to give you by using the magic wand, by saying something like this. And let's also pretend that this pen is a magic wand, and whatever you say right now, the universal intelligence is listening and is going to make it happen the way you want it to. Now, this approach often gets your client to be less resistant, but in a more resourceful state that it's no longer bound by their limited experience of the past or their limited expectation about the future due to how you set up the question. So try this next time you have a client that's a little bit resistant to solving their own problems or coming up with their own answers. It's a technique, I can tell you, it's a technique that I've been using for years, and it's helped me to help hundreds of resistant clients find their own inner truth and wisdom. So let me know what you thought of this technique below in the comments, and I want to thank you for liking and subscribing. We'll see you soon.